FORA.tv. The world is thinking.
I think yesterday on the campaign trail they talked a lot about patriotism, and I wanted you to talk a little bit about the connection between religion and patriotism and how sort of the right wing are viewed as more patriotic, at least that's how they paint themselves, and also that the Republican Party is viewed as stronger on security and defense, and how the evolution of those kind of connections.
You know, religion's relationship to patriotism is actually very complicated, I think, because on the one hand, people sort of feel simultaneous affections for their faith and their country and often link the two, the old slogan, for God and country. But what happens to you when your moral, ethical, or religious beliefs put you at odds with what your own country happens to be doing? Willy Brandt in Germany left Germany and fought against the Nazis, not because he was against Germany, but because he hated the Nazi regime. And I think, you know, if again to use the German example, the Christian church in Germany split over what the proper relationship of the church should be to Hitler and Nazism. So I think, you know, we like to think, because it makes us comfortable, that there is a total and constant identification between our faith and our country. Fortunately, I don't believe we Americans at this moment face that kind of horrible choice that someone, say, in Nazi Germany faced. We're a better country than that. On the other hand, there are people who find themselves conscientiously opposed to all war because of their religious faith, to some wars because of their religious faith. And so I think personally, and I think this is very Niebuhrian, we should be wary of a total identification of any of our faiths with our nation. In terms of patriotism, I hope we have a really robust argument in this election over what the meaning of patriotism is, because I don't think that we have collectively been asked to do enough for the common good or for our country in recent years. I would love to see the next president call people to public service in a way, say, that John Kennedy called people to public service in 1960. And thank you. And you know, and I don't say that thinking that Kennedy's presidency was perfect or anything else, but there was something very special about that moment. Carolyn Kennedy Schlossberger's daughter has said that one of the great things in her life has been all the people who came up to her and said, you know, I went into public life, I went into the government, I went into service because your father asked me to serve. And so I think patriotism is a good thing. And let me say one thing about some of my friends on the left. I don't think liberals should fear patriotism. I think, or progressives should fear patriotism because I think patriotism is about an affection for your own land, not unlike an affection that you hold for your own family. And it's also about a belief in a larger common good and not simply a loyalty to yourself. One book I'd recommend to people is my friend Todd Gitlin's book, which is called The Intellectuals and the Flag. It's a very interesting reflection after 9/11. And Todd is a very, very staunch progressive, but talks about how he felt immediately after 9/11, how he, for the first time in his life, hung a flag outside his apartment in New York City. And so I think that on the one side, progressives need to be comfortable with patriotism properly understood, and I think that conservatives need to reflect on what patriotism really means. It doesn't mean a form of blind loyalty. Real love is never a form of blind loyalty.